the American dream? To own your own home, purchase commercial real estate, or that Airbnb you always wanted? Owning and managing property has its benefits, but what happens when things go wrong or seem too unreal to be true? One man has seen it all. Lucas Thomas, CEO and founder of RHM Real Financial Planning, who stands ready to help you navigate the real and unreal parts of the real estate business.
Good. Well, you gotta have fun. I mean, we're all gonna be dead soon, so you gotta have, entertain yourself.
You know, if you can have a little bit of fun, especially in the middle of chaos and drama, then,
Yeah. Well, I was in the Army infantry, so like my mentality is I'm always like, well, we could laugh or we could cry about it, but why the hell would I cry about it?
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are fun. You guys.
Yeah. What are we gonna do? We'll be dead tomorrow, so you should enjoy right now. Like, who cares? Like, you'll be all right,
Look at
So
where
I'm in Billings like a quarter of the time, and then I travel a lot. So I'm in Las Vegas, Phoenix, because my background is I build real estate portfolios all across the nation. So but you just never know where I am half the time because I have some business interest in Costa Rica as well. So like my wife, she's Vietnamese, so we have some real estate in Vietnam. Like I'm all over the place. That's when and that's the funny thing about hanging out with me, because it's like not only do you get local stories, you also get, oh man, what's it like to buy real estate in Vietnam? And I'm gonna go, it's terrible.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So I'm going to ask you a really dumb question. Do you happen to know Eric Sachs out of Denver? He created breakthroughbroker.com.
What's the website?
Breakthroughbroker.com.
I think I've met him.
He's a really good dude. He might be somebody you might be interested in. Anyway, I think Eric is in Costa Rica quite a bit. I think.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of cool stuff to do out there.
Yeah, you guys might have. I think his significant other is, I think, from Costa Rica. Anyway, you would hit it off with him. He's a good guy. He's deeply ingrained in real estate. And his story, he used to be a cop in Denver. He was a police officer. So his background's real fun too.
Oh yeah. Well, I feel like the more craziness you deal with, the more fun and the better businessman you are, because you're just like, oh, they're like, everything's on fire. I'm like, that's not that on fire. I've seen worse on fire. Like one of my favorite stories is like for example, I used to do landlording in low income areas. Like that's my background. That's where 90% of my madness comes from. And then I started buying in New Mexico. And in New Mexico, I'd never seen I thought I'd seen it all. And then I got to New Mexico, and those people are nuts. I mean, nothing against Albuquerque, but you guys are nuts, okay? And the key here is like one of my property managers, he was in the unit, and there's hypodermic needles like up to your like ankles. And it was funny because we're just sitting here freaking out, like, oh my God. And the police officer's like, yeah, this is pretty normal. I've seen it up to your knees. And I'm like, geez.
Oh, yuck.
But that's why it's fun to hang out with police officers, because they're just like, what? You think this is gross? Let me tell you a gross story.
I know.
And I'm like, thank you, officer.
Yeah.
Thank you for that wonderful story.
Yeah, whatever we do. One of my nephews is a U.S. Marshal. He's got not funny, but holy crap. There's nothing, you guys that have been in the military, law enforcement, whatever, your stories trump anything I'm going to say all day long.
Oh yeah. And then but that's the thing. I have an exact story like that. So the story is terrible, but it's funny. You could laugh or cry about it, right? So one of my tenants, so my brother, we bought a fourplex. We ended up selling it. But here's the crazy thing. So we ended up renting to this nut job. He was like former military, but he was like one of those like not all there types. And I swear to God, he used to just bear mace the meth heads like every week. He would just run outside and start bear macing them. And the funny thing, the meth heads kept calling the police on him, and they're like, hey, you can't do that. But then the police never did anything about it. So he just kept doing it. So anyway, long story short, this guy isn't all right in the head. Like I remember this one time he sent me this giant text message of how he's gonna the proper word is skull F me, right? And then he'd be like, so he sent this 5-paragraph essay about how he's going to skull F me. And then the next text message is, hey, the refrigerator doesn't work.
Oh, how funny. Oh, geez.
But I'm so used to PTSD types. So I'm just like, so I ignore the 5-paragraph essay and I just read the bottom. And I'm like, hey, man, I'll replace your fridge within 20. And I fix his fridge and it's fine because you just you got to take the PTSD, just ignore it completely and just go right to because his brain, he's acting on reaction, right? He's like, the fridge broke and it's 100% your fault, you slumlord SOB. And then it goes to the next part, which is, hey, the fridge doesn't work. And I fix it. And then everything's back to normal. You know what I mean? But anyway,
Yeah.
but here's the kicker about that guy. So he texts me a YouTube video in the morning and he's like, hey, man, I was in Good Morning America today. And I'm like, oh, God. Oh.
Oh, no.
Why? I should just let it go.
People are messy and people are funny and yeah.
But here's the kicker. So it turns out there was a human trafficking ring in the apartment building next door, and they had like 32 people in a 2-bedroom apartment in cages.
You gotta be kidding me.
No, I swear to God.
Where was that?
This is in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
You gotta be kidding me.
So it was like an 800 square foot apartment. They had 32 people living in it in cages, and it was literally 6 paces from the crazy guy's door. And he's like, I was on Good Morning America. They interviewed me, and he's just like, I just told him how garbage this city is. And I'm like, oh man. Yeah, anyway, but that's how terrible it gets. Like, right? So I'm already dealing with insane people, and then insane things happen around those insane people, and I get the Good Morning America interviews from YouTube. I'm sitting here going like, oh my God.
Crazy.
I can't make this stuff up.
Crazy stuff. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's like why, so now I have a deep-seated hatred for Albuquerque, New Mexico now, because like if you want to ruin a city for you, become a landlord there. That's like the quickest way to just ruin all semblance of love for a city. Because once you become a landlord there, like you swiftly figure out that culture very quickly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yuck.
Yeah, so I've been a landlord in 5 states. So like each city has its own little, like there's always one thing that annoys the living hell out of me, right? It's either city, tenant, neighbors. Like it's one of the 3, always one in every city is the most annoying. You know what I mean? Like Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the city is annoying, right? In Albuquerque, New Mexico, the tenants are annoying. In Phoenix, Arizona, the neighbors are annoying.
That's why we like Montana.
Oh, nice.
We don't annoy each other much, I don't think. I don't know.
Well, you go become a landlord, and then
I was a landlord in my early 20s, and I had my fill of it right away.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, no, I tell people the only people who stay in landlording are insane people or people who have nothing better to do. You know what I mean? Like, and you end up in one of those categories, right?
I think we had 3 or 4 rental properties when we were super young, and we just decided that's not for us.
So the people are the same.
You have to have patience, and
oh yeah,
you have to have patience.
Yeah,
I have patience, but ugh.
Oh yeah, Well, see, you sound like me. I've been doing it for 15 years, and I got patience out the wazoo. That's why I have so much fun all the time, because that's the thing, you have to outlast them. You know what I mean? So yeah, like because you have to be so patient, and it's just like, yep, But you have to have fun, because otherwise they'll wear you down. But they can't wear me down. I'm like water on an otter's back. I'm good to go. Like very, very rarely do I get like frustrated anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, usually they gotta like that's the thing. Tenants gotta really go out of their way to frustrate me nowadays. And it's just like, oh my God, what are you talking about? Hey everybody, this is Lucas Thomas of Unreal State of Mind. Welcome. I'd like to welcome everyone in Billings, Montana to the show. Today I got Debbie, how do I say your last name before I butcher it?
Sauskojus.
Sauskojus? Sauskojus.
Close enough.
Debbie Sauskojus. See, I almost got that. So I got Debbie Sauskojus here from what is it? Flying E title?
Flying S, title
Oh,
and
Flying
escrow.
S title.
Flying
Gotcha.
S. Yeah.
Well, great. Welcome to the show. Even though this is our second episode, I think you kind of have the gist of what we do here. So tell us a little bit about Flying S, and then we can get into your nuttiest stories.
There are plenty. Flying S, title and escrow. I've worked for the company for 15 years. We are family owned and locally operated. We have branches throughout Montana, Wyoming, and Idaho. We operate in, I think, 77 counties.
Oh,
So
wow.
we have a pretty large footprint. So, Lucas, how many family owned companies do you know have been in business for 120 years or longer?
Well, the list is getting shorter every day.
It's a
That's what I
short
can.
list. It's a
It's
short
getting
list.
shorter because you know what
It's
I mean.
getting
Because as
shorter
time
and
goes
shorter.
on, eventually a hedge fund shows up and they drive you into the ground, and then you
Yeah.
disappear.
Yeah. So 120 years in title and escrow. And we are
120
celebrating our 100th.
years.
Yeah.
That means like Wild West days. And
Yeah.
what is
Yeah.
like? I mean, that's kind of interesting. What was
Isn't that
title
fun?
back in the day? Like when it
I
was like
know.
parchment, and you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
where do they even store it? Like you know what I mean?
I
Like
know.
where do they store the deeds? Do they go in a vault too? You know what I
I
mean?
don't, well, it's really funny. If you go on our website, titlefc.com, we have pictures of the founding. So William H. Stufflebeam was our founder, and yeah, I mean it's just fascinating to look at the old pictures and the old stories. But yeah, 1905.
And
And
can you
yeah,
imagine? Can you imagine like what is it even like? Because we're pretty spoiled nowadays because we got e-signature and everything. And back then you have to like physically go there. You have to go find a witness. You know what I mean?
yeah.
You gotta do all this extra steps, and then but then you also got to take the document to some other place, and there's no copies of anything. You know what I mean? So you can't even make copies of things.
You're right. You're
So next
right.
thing you know, it's like, and then it's like, well, that deed is now worth its weight in gold because it's like if someone steals it, can they change it? They alter it?
Well,
Like,
and that brings up a good point. In Montana, there is no plant law.
mhm.
Anybody can, you'll see oftentimes there isn't a local title company that's used. They can just go online and do a public search. But if they're doing a public search, they can't go back to 1905 or 1920. And there's a lot of, I hate to say funny things, funny stories that I've heard, of people getting a title commitment from a title company out of Parsippany, New Jersey, and then come to find out there's something that was in a deed restriction from the 1940s that they don't really like that much. And so
Wow.
it's pretty fascinating. But yeah, Flying Us Title and Escrow, we employ about 400 people locally in our markets. 77 counties, I believe, is the number of counties that we cover. We cover everything from Twin Falls, Idaho to Eureka, Montana, clear over to Gillette, Wyoming, and down to Cheyenne. So we've got a pretty large footprint, all local. We are a family company.
Or-
We know each other. I mean, it's an environment. Like I said, I've never worked anywhere for more than 7 years, and I've been with these guys for 15 years.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming on. So let's get
Yeah.
to your nuttiest stories.
Well, I'll tell you a nutty story, and then I have two things I want to touch on. I want to
mm,
talk a little bit about seller impersonation fraud that's going on, and that brings up the AI that you and I were kind of talking about a little bit earlier. And
mm.
then the FinCEN, Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, has a new rule that's coming, a new law that's coming up in place on March 1st. But interesting story. Okay, so Lucas,
Mm.
imagine with me, if you will, that you find the most lovely piece of property around Billings, say it's around Billings, and you pay cash for it. Sight unseen, you just fell in love. You were down in Costa Rica or wherever you are, and you just fall in love with this property. Pay cash for it. The guy wanted quick closing, made you a heck of a deal. He sold it to you for about 50 cents on the dollar, and you were giddy over it. In the spring, you decide you're going to go to Billings and you're going to start work on your cabin. This is your dream cabin. So you get all your plans drawn, you hire contractors to come in and you pay cash for everything, right? Build your cabin, and all of a sudden next fall, you get a phone call from your real estate agent that you used, and they say, "Hey Lucas, I have some news for you. You better sit down."
Oh, Jesus.
The seller that you purchased the property from was fraudulent, and so you don't own that property. So the listing agent just got a phone call from the real true seller, and they drove by your property because they're getting ready to build their dream cabin, and all of a sudden there's already a cabin there and they don't, what the heck, right?
Mm,
So that's seller impersonation fraud. All
mm.
your money is gone. The money that you paid for the lot went to the seller, right? The fraudulent seller. So
Mm.
the 150, 200,000 that you paid for that property is gone, just flew away. And then what happens next?
Well, that's the question because, like, there's two real estate agents and then there's the title company, right? So
Yeah.
the title company doesn't cover that. They just go, not our problem.
Oh, well, therein lies the problem is what happens next. We don't know. But this
Hmm.
is happening. I shouldn't say we don't know, but there's obviously claims and lawsuits and everything that's going to bubble up from all of this. So
Oh,
anyway,
good.
this
So
is
we're
a really
creating
big
new
issue.
case law. How
Well,
exciting.
I will say this, in the state of Montana, it is a law that the listing agent, so the real estate listing agent, it's considered unprofessional conduct if they don't promptly identify that the seller of that property is the real owner of that property, or whoever's signing that listing agreement is authorized by the legal owner of that property to sign the listing agreement. And so a lot of the onus in Montana only, that they do not have a law like that. I have talked to a commissioner with the Wyoming Real Estate Commission and then the Idaho Real Estate Commission, and they think that they have told me that that's a great law. We don't have anything like that, but that's
Hmm.
brilliant, especially with all the fraud that's going on.
Oh,
So
well.
it's pretty crazy. So going back to AI, the docu signing, they're
Hmm.
forging signatures. I have seen the same signature on three different buy-sell agreements with different names.
Oh,
So they'll
well.
have a scribble that's, Julie Stewart, and then they'll have another scribble, same signature that's Emily Young, and then the same. And these are different properties around Montana, and it's just crazy to me. Um,
Wow. So
so
title's
anyway,
really exciting right now. So because all
you
this,
know,
it's like because title used to be,
you,
pretty like because when you have signatures and wet docs and you got witnesses,
yeah,
and now I mean basically there's a lot of fail safes, but now you're saying in the
it,
new world, like well, like I said, it's not hard to create a fake doc, right? You create two emails and you docu-sign to yourself.
yeah,
I mean,
and
it takes it takes 5 minutes, right?
it's so funny. I see the contracts that are submitted through the websites, all of our websites.
Mhm.
And they'll come in, and this will be Joe Jackson on a property in Wyoming, and then another one in Kalispell, and one in, Ennis. And it's got different names on it. And it's the same, it is the identical signature. It's crazy to me.
Wow.
But
So we're
bringing up,
talking, so we're talking. So basically, and then when did they start? So you're just getting, so basically, like, so all the title companies are basically getting assaulted by
oh,
these
oh yeah.
scammers. And when did
Well,
that start? Was it
it's
recent
not
or is it
really the
in the
title companies, it's the real estate agents. It's the real
mm,
estate agents are getting the leads from, I've seen leads from realtor.com that realtors have sent me, and they'll say, oh my gosh, this and that. I teach CE. We have
mm,
continuing ed for realtors, and I called it the imposters among us. And it's just fascinating how these bad guys will call these agents, and even they will even have face-to-face meetings now,
huh.
phone
Oh, we were talking
calls.
about that. You have a filter for another human
Heck,
being, and you're just like, hey,
yeah.
I'm
The
Lucas Thomas. I
AI.
don't need the real Lucas Thomas. I just need a Lucas Thomas filter
So
with
this is
AI.
funny. This is funny. Warren Buffett. We all know
Mm,
Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett did an interview with, I think, the Washington Post or whatever. Anyway,
mm,
if you Google him, go on and try to find that interview, and I think it's the Washington Post or Wall Street Journal. Anyway, this is a few years ago. Warren Buffett even said that he saw an AI video of himself, and it was him, had the clothes that he wears. The voice was his voice. And he
mm.
said if that video got to his family or got to him, he would send himself money. I'm in
Ah,
trouble. I'm in jail in Mexico, and I need $30,000. He said it was so real. It was crazy.
oh yeah,
And he
that's
said
crazy.
the in that article, he said that AI will actually be the what was the nuclear?
Oh,
It'll
like
be
the
it'll be
nuclear,
big.
then like
It'll be
the
used for good,
nuclear.
and it will definitely be used for evil. And so it's a really good article. I was just telling you, Lucas, I was
Mm,
at an NS3 convention. So realtors, lenders, title
mm,
experts, the Fed was there. Anyway, they had a whole meeting on AI, and they said if you have, we all have voicemail, right? We all have
mm.
personal voicemail message. These bad guys need exactly 4 seconds of your voice to be able to duplicate and use your voice for uh, criminal activity.
Yeah. Well,
So,
I just read an article about that. So like, so I get spam because sadly I'm a real estate
yeah.
agent, and because I'm a real estate agent, my phone number is in the public, and because my phone number is in the public, the do not call list does not protect me. So I
Oh,
probably get 15, 20 fake calls a day, and what they'll do is they'll call you, and you just say hello, hello, are you there? And that's all they need, and then they can copy your voice. So
or hi, this is
I'm
Lucas.
technically already in trouble because
Yeah.
I've already answered hundreds of those.
You
Because
know, I actually took off my personal voicemail message right after I was it bothered me. I found it so bothersome that they can do that. And for those of us that we are out there in the public,
oh yeah,
and it's kind of crazy.
yeah. Well I have a show, so I'm screwed no matter what
You
we do.
are. You're just out there.
So I'm already
Yeah.
getting there's probably going to be 100 different it's going to be 100 different Lucas Thomases we don't know, like and then they're going to NFT me, you know what I'm saying? So next thing you know, it's like I'm a trading card, Lucas Thomas, blue, yellow, green, orange, and then it's
His
like,
name
yeah,
is
that's what I'm saying. It's crazy
it is it is well
how
when you
quickly it can how quickly it's accelerated. And I don't even think we've seen the worst of it because only now or because AI, because ChatGPT only came out what, 2 years ago?
maybe a little bit longer,
Yeah, it's
maybe.
only been 2 3 years. And so my background is I used to be a copywriter, you know what I mean, writing sales copy. So it was horrifying for me because that was one of my original careers. It's what helped me catapult me into real estate. It's I literally use copywriting every day because I help persuade people. I mean, it helped build me into the man I am today. And the problem is I literally watched the copywriting industry literally get wiped out overnight from
Yeah.
AI, and that was nuts. Because and a lot of people go out and say, well, no, you can still make a living as a copywriter. I'm like, well, yeah, but you can't not. I mean, nothing against the average consumer, but they don't care that Like they don't care. They just want 20 pages of copy. They don't want to pay, but you get 20 pages of copy, edit it, you get like, so what it would take an entire day worth of work now takes 30 minutes or less.
Or less.
And
Or less.
the problem is like quality is not always what they're looking for. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I literally watched an entire industry get wiped out overnight. And I'm horrified because a lot of people, they don't get to experience that. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people's, their job wasn't wiped out overnight. I literally watched one of my old careers get wiped out. So that's how scary it is, because like it hits home to me because of just that.
Learn a lot from the squirrel, but do you know where all your nuts are? You need a plan and a right-hand man. Learn how you can achieve FIRE, gain financial independence, and retire early. Call Lucas Thomas, your right-hand man in financial planning today at 602-885-1148 or visit rhmreal.com. If tomorrow never came, or life threw you a curveball, what if something happened while you were away? It's not what you leave them, it's what you teach them. Get the only course today you'll ever need to build your family's financial future. Get started at jjjinvesting.com.